Van Damme, Golden Age. Let's talk about it. Last week I watched Lionheart in the ongoing discussion of what's the second best Van Damme movie. I don't know why. I thought I was going to do the standing up and immediately was like, no, I'm going to sit down. So the discussion of what's the second best Van Damme movie, Lionheart or Hard Target. I've now watched them both. Once again, glowing white, because I always film these in the evening and the sun is shining directly in the apartment. So I watched Lionheart, and to compare it to Hard Target is pretty tough. They are just so different of films. Lionheart suffers from a little bit of Van Damme acting. He does yell the word family. So ahead of his time. Really paved. He walked so Vin Diesel could run. He gets a little too dramatic at times, and it makes the film kind of jokey, easy to laugh at. When I made my Hard Target video and I talked about my expectations going into this watch of Lionheart, I talked about how the Foreign Legion stuff is really silly. I gotta walk that back after watching the film. It is the thing that gives the ending its punch. You see it coming a million miles away, like you know what's about to happen. Thinking about it, I remember as a kid seeing it for the very first time, even knowing it was gonna happen. Because movies have to have happy endings. So it doesn't present any drama or stakes that I really care about, but it gives you that ending moment that's just kind of one more moment that's nice. And the score in the movie is pretty good. It is scored more like a classic film than an action movie. I stand by what I said about the female antagonist and the complete unnecessity of her betrayal and comeuppance at the end of the film. It would be a better movie without that. And it's a classic case of a villain plan not making any sense. Like, she put a lot of time and effort into this fighter for him to go into the final fight as an underdog. Like, she bet against someone that most people were betting against. So in universe, it's dumb. She works she flies across the country to follow a guy that she's seen throw one punch. Like, she falls head over heels in love with him, personally and professionally. And then it's just like, I don't know, it was all a setup to watch him get killed by this far superior fighter. It just doesn't flesh out. It doesn't feel necessary. And the movie I'm going to watch tonight suffers from a similar problem. But yeah, like the third act betrayal doesn't need to happen. It'd be a stronger film without it. I think this Joshua betting against him in that final fight and being conflicted about it, and Leon forgiving him, makes it a better film. Like, that's interesting, and there's dynamic there, and you sort of, everyone's behavior makes sense, and then ultimately you get what you want regardless. So yeah, I think those are cool moments, and the film has a little bit of intelligence in it. Ultimately, the fight scenes aren't that great. A big part of it is just that our expectations are so much higher now. But yeah, the fight scenes, a couple of punches, a lot of slow-mo. There's nothing spectacular about them. I think they were interesting when I was a kid, kind of for the same reason that a lot of the blood sport combatants seem really interesting, is when you're a kid, you just flesh out a whole backstory for a character based on the way they look immediately. Like, Bloodsport, Street Fighter, and Lionheart all have the same thing of, like, when you're a little kid and you're not critical of films as films. You're watching them as a window into a universe, as if it were real. Yeah, any kind of like the fact that there's a Scottish fighter just is such great world building. It's thrilling when you're a kid, and as an adult, you're like, this fight scene sucks and is dumb and is very, very slow. Also, the UFC just ruined us all for knowing what A, real fights look like and what exciting fights look like. Because no cinematic fights before 2005 are any good. There, I said it. Tonight's film, Death Warrant. So I've watched Death Warrant, I believe, twice since I got it. Because my memories of it are really fresh and strong. So there won't be many surprises in it. But we'll see, because I thought that about Lionheart too. I already had to walk back some things that I thought going into that watch. A thing that bugs me about Death Warrant is... Oh, that reminds me of a thing that I should still say about Lionheart also. A thing that bugs me in so many films, every Van Damme film is guilty of it. In a good movie, even in a mediocre movie, you need your hero to be losing their final battle and then be reminded of why they're fighting, and then they overcome and win. That's just necessary to give the fight narrative and to be emotionally rewarding. Even though you know what's going to happen, it still needs to be emotionally rewarding when it does happen. What I hate in so many Van Damme movies, and just all lesser action films, is you establish that the hero is losing the final fight, they're reminded of why they're fighting, they get their motivation, or they get their release from whatever was holding them back. And then rather than them getting better, their opponent just stops fighting. You see it in Kickboxer in the worst, where just like the greatest kickboxer in the world, supposedly, never raises his hands after Van Damme has been liberated to fight him. And you see it here too, the supposedly great fighter that he's taking on just starts getting his ass kicked by a guy with a broken rib and a concussion, surely, just because that guy has been reminded that some people believe in him and some don't. It's like, I still want to see combat. In Universal Soldier, they extended that final fight scene to make it more cathartic, and that was a great choice. If you look at the way it was originally done and was originally going to come out, it's not rewarding at all to just have your bad guy winning and then your good guy win. Just ta-da. Like, having something that changes the course of the fight whilst raising the stakes. Not just the stakes go away because it's time for the good guy to win. The stakes need to raise, the danger needs to elevate even as the hero elevates. In Death Warrant, the thing that bugs me is when it has the worst case of antagonist dad film over, because Van Damme is still in jail, and they outline that like not many people, like no one knows he's undercover. The situation is totally unresolved as to like what happens to Van Damme that minute when the film is over. Like, is he getting thrown in jail by a SWAT team who don't know that he's a prisoner, or that don't know that he's undercover and think he's just an escaped prisoner during a riot? Like, wrap up your movies, people. Jesus. And yeah, the third act betrayal that you see coming a million miles away in Death Warrant is that, like, of course, the rich old white guy who sets the whole plot in motion is actually the bad guy the whole time. And it's totally unclear what happens to him and his wife and their organ-stealing business and everything. Like, the movie just stops and there's so many unanswered questions. It's infuriating. All in all, I think it's a gooder. I think it's, like, mid-tier, maybe upper. I like the... if I recall correctly, I like the... I was going to say love interest, and I like their romantic and sexual relationship. Maybe this video is going to get too long now, and I should save this for the later video. But going into this watch of Death Warrant, I remember thinking that the scene where the female... she's like a legal assistant or something. she gets strip searched by the antagonist cops, and they're so clearly mean and exploitive. And then in the next scene, she and Van Damme are attracted to each other and have sex. And I think, unwittingly perhaps, that's a really good juxtaposition of just what exploitation versus enthusiastic consent kind of means. I don't know if the filmmaker was trying to be like... the filmmaker was just trying to be like, these are the bad guys and all bad guys are rapey, so that they can just be more bad. And then she has sex with the protagonist because he's the protagonist. But I still think it kind of works as a scene. I think there's something there in that juxtaposition. And I think the racial politics of the movie are like that just 80s good guys are colorblind kind of optimism. It doesn't hold up strongly now, but it's still like good for it for not being worse. Yeah, I think there's a lack of much else to say. It's a strong ensemble sort of story. Like the other characters involved in the crescendo have things to say and whatnot. But this is all for the post-watch video. So yes, Lionheart is great. I still don't know if it's better than Hard Target. I think I'm going to have to say it is, because I wouldn't show someone Hard Target and expect them to genuinely like it or have anything to say about it. It's a fun action movie, but you don't actually need to watch it. There's nothing there. Whereas with Lionheart, at least someone watching it could go, oh, there's a story here. There is a rise and fall in narrative. There are characters who come to know one another, and that knowledge progresses the story. So yeah, there's just a little more there, even if it's a bit less exciting of a film. And now, on to Death Warrant.